we want to get to Fire Commissioner 𝗕𝗥𝗘𝗪𝗦 now. She joins us on the phone to give us some more information about what is happening on Burnside Avenue. Commissioner, thank you for joining us. Can you please just tell us what is the latest from the scene? Are you hearing reports of anyone that might be trapped under that rubble or even in the building?
Yeah, so this is the latest. First and foremost, I want to emphasize this is a live scene. We have our firefighters, our EMTs, and our medics through this rubble using our canine unit and locate anyone that could be under that. We will presume with an occupied building that there could be someone there until we eliminate that possibility. So right now for us, we know that there was a major collapse. We know that there could be someone under there, although we haven't confirmed that, and we are doing everything in our power to make sure we can find them if they're there or to eliminate the possibility.
Commissioner, can you describe what you're up against? I mean, we see it, but in terms of your expertise and how your crews go about their business here, what does it look like?
I would say this came in as a 1060, and what that means for the fire department is a serious collapse. And so we're taking it accordingly. Because our mission is life, until we confirm that a place like this was not occupied, we're going to go to work. So given that this is an active building, a building with commercial space and residential space, we're going to presume there could be someone there, and we're going to operate like there is.
Commissioner, are there any evacuations happening in and around this area?
So just in order to stay clear, obviously the building itself is evacuated, but otherwise we're just asking residents to stay clear. As I said, this is an active scene, and we want to let the first responders go to work.
At this point, you're obviously laser focused on finding people, but do you have any idea what could have happened here?
We don't. The DOB commissioner and his team are on scene, so when we are done with our search and rescue, they will take over the investigation.
Commissioner, can you tell us whether or not there was any road construction in this area going on?
So I cannot. That'll be part of the investigation. Like I said, we're solely focused on making sure that we're finding any victims that could be there. Once we have completed our operation, a full investigation will take place.
And one more thing here, Commissioner. We understand that you have an elite unit, well-trained, highly specialized in this kind of thing. Can you tell us a little bit more about them?
Yes, so we have a number of specialized units. Our members actually drill and train on this regularly. We actually have a rubble pile at our academy for this very reason. So we have a number of members that are specially trained in exactly this: search and rescue in a collapse, search and rescue using canines, and for our EMTs and medics for treating people even in the collapse or as soon as they get out. So this is something we train for regularly. We have our best folks on the team.
Can you tell us about some of the tools that are being used at the scene there? We noticed a drone up in the air. What is that being used for?
So a drone is so that we can see overhead, we can see what's going on, and in particular, in a situation like this where it might be a large area, there might be areas of instability that our members can't get to. We want to see whether or not we can see any victims or anything that could be a danger to the first responders across the scene. So we use these drones both to find additional victims and to protect our first responders in these dangerous conditions.
And we understand you also have canine dogs at the scene. Can you tell us what they're doing?
Yeah, so they're trained in search and rescue. They are specifically trained to help us narrow down the search area and point to where there could be someone. So they're trained in that, and we're following their lead right now.
Okay, FDNY Fire Commissioner 𝗕𝗥𝗘𝗪𝗦, thank you for the insight. We wish you the best going forward tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Thanks, Commissioner.
CBS 2's Tim McNicholas, he's been looking into the building and its history and any sort of violations and complaints in the past. Tim, what have you found?
Maurice and Christine, we have learned there have been some recent inspections at this property, and there are also some open violations. 7 open violations. That's according to the Department of Buildings records. We're still looking through all those, but I want to read you a bit from one recent violation notice. This is from November of this year. An inspector wrote, quote, "I observed there are deteriorated and broken mud sills with inadequate support for vertical members throughout." Goes on to say there is one vertical member with missing mud sill, which can compromise the structural stability, causing a potential collapse, injuring pedestrians, you're damaging property. Now, this is a large property. We don't know what part of the property that violation applies to, or whether it was for the building itself, or maybe a sidewalk shed nearby, something of that nature. These are questions we're looking into right now, and the Department of Buildings is also looking into them. We also don't know if those problems were ever fixed, but the violation is still listed as open with, quote, no compliance recorded. The records also show there has been some construction at the property recently. We know that because some of the open violations, including that one I just mentioned, is categorized as a construction violation. Christina Maurice, we're still looking at all this. We also know that there have been some complaints filed recently about the construction, so we'll have some more reporting on that later this evening.
But I think you make an important point, Tim. We don't know if the violations were dealing directly with this corner of the building or another portion. That's still unclear at this point.
Yeah, and we don't know what caused this collapse. So whether that violation contributed to this or not,
right,
it's all still being looked into.
Very early in the investigation. But thank you so much, Tim. Appreciate it.
And Tim, one quick other note before you go, if you can, if you and your producer have time, we've been wondering whether or not there's been construction, road construction specifically, in this area. So if there's a way that you guys can figure that out as well, that would help with our reporting, because according to Professor 𝗕𝗏𝗧, that could have also played a role in all of this. So trying to put all the pieces together here, if that's something that you can add to your list of things to do, we'd appreciate that, Tim. Thank you.
We'll definitely look into that.
Okay, thanks so much.